From the blood-filled comic book of carnage comes the anthology film concocted by two of horror's eternal heavyweights. That's right, we're talking about George Romero and Stephen King's love letter to a bygone comic era with 1982's Creepshow. The tale of a boy's comic book come to life in 5 tales of gore and goo that takes us from the crawl spaces of colleges to the high rises from hell. What happens when you skip out on cake for a corpse? At what point does being a green farmer go too far? How do you avoid drowning when you're up to your neck in relationship problems? What happens when you create an Antarctic Pokemon for over a century? And how many bugs does it take for you to burst with disgust? I hope you found your comic stash, made sure your voodoo dolls are prepared for pins, and your red and blue lights dramatically set up, because we're about to chuddle the first issue of Creepshow.
Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise. Whoa. Oh, that's fantastic.
Fuck good. If what the actual fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod. Welcome, boils and ghouls, and our blood-curdling Chuddle Club members to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. My name is Ross, and I'm joined by my co-occupants of the pod, Bryan and Sam.
Huh?
Tonight, we get what?
What's up?
What's up? I should have waited for the sup, and I should have waited for the huh.
It's okay. We'll figure it out one of these days.
One of these days, we'll get it together. Tonight, we get under the covers and crack open our comic books as we discuss 1982's Creepshow. And honestly, I was looking at streaming. You got to rent it at this point. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere at this point. I watched it on my Blu-ray, so
I had a copy of it on DVD.
You still have to pay for it now. It's not free anywhere.
Okay.
You know what? But
yes.
worth it.
As of this recording.
Just keep on checking. But before we get into our film today, we have Dawn from the Two Towns Over podcast. Welcome.
Hello.
To the podcast, Dawn.
Thank you. Long time coming.
Two Towns. Oh, thank you. We appreciate it, man. Especially for this movie. Two Towns Over is a podcast where they explore the fascinating world of urban legends, conspiracy theories, and campfire tales to find out if there's any truths behind the legends. Thank you so much for heading out of your town for the evening to hunker down with us in the Creepshow comic shop.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. It's
Great.
good to have you here. We've had your co-occupants on the podcast before on an episode that's no longer available on our podcast. Except for patrons.
Except for Patreon.
Yeah. I never did get to finish listening to it. When it aired, I was going through some personal stuff. I listened to about half of it, and then I finally was like, oh, I need to go back and listen to that. And you guys...
It was gone.
Oh.
We nixed it.
It was gone.
You know what's funny is that that got me down the hugest rabbit hole of SCP stuff. Because I had no idea what it was before that recording, and then I went ham. It was...
Yeah, you talked about that for a while.
It was a problem. It was a problem.
Yeah,
it still technically is a problem.
So yes, we were happy to have them on, and we were like, we got to get you on for something. And you were just like, you guys ever do some creep show? I'd be happy to. I'm like, I know Ross loves that shit, so let's make this happen.
Yeah.
Been waiting on this one.
Yeah, for sure.
Otherwise,
and just in case.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Otherwise, you guys would have to deal with me in like really, really bad horror movies because that's...
Oh, that's fine too.
Oh, well, it sounds like you'll be coming on for Ross's picks then.
I did get to hear the Pussy Cake episode.
Oh, awesome.
So,
we love that.
Did you see Pussy Cake by any chance?
I have not seen it, but...
It's on Tubi.
We recommend
it's on
it.
Tubi now.
Fantastic.
Is it on Tubi?
It's
Yes.
fantastic.
And then we have an interview with the director and
Oh, wow.
one of the stars. Yeah.
God damn, you guys are so much better than we are.
I don't think so. I think you guys are doing some awesome shit. And,
You guys are killing it.
So,
If you miss the stuff that we don't do on our show anymore,
yeah, go check
listen
out
to their
shit.
show. It's all there.
Because they got a lot of good stuff out there. You guys are going crazy with the Satanic Panic.
Yeah, we're almost done with it.
Oh, it's so awesome.
We just finished West Memphis 3, and I think we broke Ruben.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, we're almost done. We're almost out of it. And we're all getting to that point where we're like, all right, we just want a good old crazy serial killer.
Yeah,
We just-
something. a little bit more.
It's so we still got QAnon to do, which is not something any of us are looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
you know it's going to be a good episode when everyone cumulatively before recording goes, "Oh shit." It's amazing.
That's where they keep the Chuddle.
And just in case you didn't know, we like to keep it spoiler free up top, and we will let you know when the spoilers are going to be presented to you. And last, but certainly not least, we have a Patreon, and we got to give a shout out to our Coven of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life, and we thank you for your beautiful souls.
We thank your beautiful souls.
Yeah. We have a few bonus episodes that we've been dropping. I think by the time this drops, I mean, they're going to be getting Akira.
Yeah, they'll have Akira out. They'll have the 6 mailbag out, and then all the other previous stuff there as well.
Yeah, so if you're kind of curious on what they're listening to, join the Patreon.
Do non-horror movies, answer your questions in mailbags. It's fun.
And
we have fun.
And patrons get to choose, like we just did Lawnmower Man. That was patrons putting it together.
You get access to our library old stuff, all the stuff we cut, the episode.
So you'll get to hear the SCP. Yeah.
SCP things. Yeah. And honestly, the Patreon picks have been killing it lately. What, that episode is like 2.5 hours long of us we got real cerebral on that. That was fantastic.
Oh, what? Lawnmower Man? That was
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
We did.
The
We
patrons
got real
have us
heady with
thinking.
All right, so we're gonna kind of peek into the comic book without fully opening it beforehand. So we're gonna go into our spoiler-free tagline. A young boy's thrown-out comic book takes us on 5 strange and different tales of terror. Stories of a Father's Day from beyond the grave, a cosmic night on a barn, beaches that go bump in the night, a crate and its hungry inhabitant, and a bully with a bug problem.
Indeed.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. We'll get there. All right. Who made the movie?
Yeah.
I already said it at the top. This is George Romero. And with his directing and writing from Stephen King. This was a hangout love letter to 1950s comic book era. And both of them were just super jazzed to do it.
We have hopped up on coke.
The whole time. Whole lot of time. We also have a huge cast of characters in this movie. Obviously, this is an anthology movie, so we have a lot of different ones. We have, just off the top of the dome, we got Leslie Nielsen as Richard Vickers in Something Tied You Over. We've got, just in the crate
Ted
alone,
Danson's
we've
also
got,
in that.
Yeah, Ted Danson. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm going down the list. Trust me, we've got everybody. We got Hal Holbrook, Adrian Barbeau, Fritz Weaver are all in the crate. With Leslie Nielsen, we also do have Ted Danson and Galen Ross. Stephen King plays Jordy Verrill in this. We also have Ed Harris in the first segment of Father's Day.
With the best dance moves I've ever seen.
Oh, the best. Improv dance by Ed Harris is like,
pretty good.
Don't let go. E.G. Marshall plays Upson Pratt in They're Creeping Up on You. So like there's a very long list of people. Check out the IMDb to check out all of them. IMDb me.
Sorry.
God damn it. With that being said, I think we can transition to the Gorometer.
It's time for the Gorometer.
Fatality.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory, gooey, and generally just pleasuring is this film? Let's give our guests what on a scale of 1 to 10. What would you say, Don?
I mean, it's got its gore, but it's almost comical.
Yes, we've actually had this discussion a bunch where it's like it's splattery, but it's done in such a humorous way. Does it make it less gory or less gooier?
Right.
Yeah. I'd probably put it around 5 or 6.
I'd say that's good. I gave it a 6. I mean, I
was going to give it a 3 or a 4. Am I crazy?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I had a 6.5. Consistency was a 3. Intensity was a 3.5.
That's what I said too. Except for 3 and 3.
My God, I feel insane.
You're desensitized,
right now.
Sam.
Well, obviously we will get into the kills and the gore and stuff like that. I think it's done in a comic book way, which really does buffer, I feel, the feeling of intensity of the gore. But when they show gore, like in The Crate, even the first segment, Father's Day, like there is some pretty horrific stuff that happens from Gunk Street.
Mm-hmm. Sam disagrees.
Yeah. Which is, hey, you know what? Everybody's viewing is going to be different on this. But yeah, for me, I think to me it was a 6.5. I would probably lean maybe to between I think a 6. But I think
a 6 works as well. So Sam's just wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just the loser on this one.
You lost. Sam lost.
I'm kind of done with my finger and my thumb.
That's right.
Shape of an L on your forehead.
It in your head.
No. Singing it out loud. We're all stars, baby.
Right. Who is the horror for?
Nerds.
Pretty much asking what kind of, yeah.
Wait a minute now.
Are you
come on here to be insulted?
When did Sam turn in the ogre of
nerd buckets?
Oh man,
dorks, geeks,
dorks. Yeah, thanks for the Jock Horror Club.
Straight up top, obviously fans of anthologies, supernatural stuff, creature stuff.
This is like one of the granddaddy of anthology horror films.
EC Comics.
EC Comics. Like if you like that kind of weird, moralistic, askew, revengey kind of narratives and you're campy. Like that's very much this movie and a very contingent, like it's it's in the same wheelhouse to me as Sin City in the fact of like, it's a live action comic book. Like this was portrayed and the way that everything's set up is to make you feel like stylistically. Exactly. It's like you're in a comic book.
Yeah. There are frames that are like that in the movie, some scenes or shots are framed like a comic book frame with the borders and different things happening. And and especially towards the end of each segment, they go highly stylized.
Yes. So how are we watching this? Are we doing, it's like quite loud? Are we doing serious as schlocky? Like, are we doing groups or solo?
I said loud and schlocky with friends. Would be the best.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think it's a good, to me, just because it's one of my favorite movies, it's a great alone movie too. It's like chicken soup for the horror soul, honestly.
Sure, I can see that.
But this movie is built to watch with a group of people and have one hell of a time watching it.
I can see that.
I agree.
Sure.
I think we already said this, but is this movie for beginners?
I said no.
Oh, really?
I just think it'd be. Not because like content.
Or?
Yeah, it's just like if this is gonna be your introductory to horror, I don't know if it's too campy for an entry.
I can see that.
Depending on the person, I guess it's very.
It could be.
Yeah,
too comical for some people.
Yes,
who are trying to get into it.
Totally. I think you're right. My initial gut reaction was like, this is absolutely a beginner's movie. But you kind of have to be in the right headspace for it, where it's like, this movie isn't really intended, like there are some jump scares in this, but it's more of like the horrificness of it, but it is a big layer of cheese that's attached to that. And it's not something that's going to like keep you awake at night or like, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be entertainingly fun, not gut wrenching horrible, like horror. You know what I mean?
I think it's for beginners if that beginner is a kid, but if that beginner is an adult, maybe not necessarily. But I feel like if I was if I was 10 years old or whatever when I first saw this, I would have like totally rocked my cockles, you know?
Yes. Okay. I agree with that statement. It's for the kid that's like, would like, maybe, I don't know if this is your sneak off and watch this, like get beamed onto the TV late at night. And you're like, what the fuck is this? This is great. I think it's that sense of for beginners, but if it's a later life, maybe I'm getting into horror. I don't know if I'm recommending this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do, as kind of, not a counter argument to that. I think if you're a beginner and you're trying to get into anthology horror movies, this is probably one of the first ones I would watch, just because of it's less intense than other anthologies. It's more stylized, I guess. So it would be a really good one to kind of have the narrative of an anthology one. But I do agree with you is that like the age base is definitely like if you're, you know, a younger person or trying to get a younger person into horror movies, this is a kind of a good one. But if you're like older, I feel that there would be a few others before this to kind of get your toes into.
Get your toes wet.
Get your toes wet. Do we have the Chuddle Harbinger of Doom saying anything for this one?
Yeah, he'll come in and warn about some bug phobia. If you have a big cockroach phobia, the last segment you might want to skip.
I was going to say, honestly, the only one that really kind of just any kind of hairs on the back of the head for warnings would be the last one. It would basically be the last story because it hits on some classism or racism kind of not like context and dialogue. And then, bugs. If you fucking hate bugs, the last one is not. It's
maybe a little bit
not going.
Is claustrophobia when you talk about Ted Danson's segment?
Oh yes,
you get a little weird feeling. I mean,
doesn't it open with child abuse?
Big old slap.
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Joe Hill himself getting slapped. Who picked it? Why? And history. Okay, so I picked this movie. This movie has been around. I mean, honestly, I'm going to be very candid. I don't even remember what age I was young. I do not remember what age I was when I watched this for the first time because I have seen this movie so many times at this point.
I actually remember seeing it at the drive-in theater.
Really?
Wow. Really? That's the kind of parents I had.
That's awesome. I am so on board with that. That must have been amazing to see at a drive-in theater.
I saw that and Poltergeist at a drive-in theater.
That's
nice.
Fucking awesome.
I don't think I've ever been to a drive-in theater.
I've never been to a drive-in. I don't think they
exist. Yeah. And this was, which is amazing because when this movie got released, they actually waited till after Halloween to do it. So this was like an early November, like mid-November release too, which I thought was amazing. Especially the fact that like there's a pumpkin in the beginning of it. They were like, no, it'll work better later on. Just figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I was 37 when I saw this for the first time, just a couple days ago.
Likewise. What's really amazing.
The imagery, I know that. I know the covers. I get when I look and saw you Creepshow 2, I'm like, yep, I recognize that cover. I recognize this one. All of it is just so familiar and something I grew up around, but never watched.
You know, this is a really not weird one because that's not the right choice of words. But most of my other horror heads that I hang around with and stuff like that is that they've always seen 2. And most of them that haven't seen, like if they've seen the Creepshow series, they always have seen 2. They've never seen 1.
I haven't seen any of them, I don't think.
Well, honestly, I will for sure get in.
I'm sure
2.
you will.
Yeah. And then probably get into Tales from the Dark Side because it's kind of like the third movie without really being the third movie, but it's still the kind of same kind of, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen Creepshow 3?
Yes, and it's fun.
I've never seen it.
It is so bad. It is
interesting.
Spoiler alert. It is like it's basically they spent the entire budget on the licensing to get Creepshow, and then they panicked, and then it was just, and then they got it, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we got to make a movie." It is not even like. It's bad. And I love trauma movies so much. Like it is like could have been filmed in someone's backyard level of kind of cinema. You know what? If I've got a copy, I will mail that out to you just so you could just kind of silently weep.
Ross really likes to make people feel their worst. It really gets them off.
Oh, God. All right. Now would be the best time to pause this episode. If we enticed you with this movie and our banter right now, check it out if you haven't seen it yet, because we are about to go directly into...
Spoiler zone.
All right. So now we're going to get into a brief recap, our brief AI recap. Creepshow is a horror anthology film directed by George A. Romero and written by Stephen King. The movie pays homage to the classic horror comics of the 1950s, presenting 5 chilling and suspenseful stories that are interconnected through a framing narrative. The film begins with a prologue featuring a young boy named Billy who loves reading horror comic books. Billy's father disapproves of his obsession and throws away his comic book. Creepshow. Later, as Billy is laying in bed, the creepy host of the comic book, The Creep, appears outside his window. Each story unfolds as a comic book segment of its own unique style and tone. Father's Day. A wealthy, dysfunctional family gathers on Father's Day at their late patriarch's grave. However, they're in for a gruesome surprise when the deceased patriarch rises from the grave seeking revenge. The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. The backwoods farmer named Jordy, played by Stephen King, discovers a strange meteorite on his property. As he interacts with it, he becomes increasingly infected with a rapidly spreading alien plant-like organism. Something to tide you over. A wealthy man named Richard Vickers discovers his wife's infidelity and plots a twisted revenge. He lures her and her lover to a beach and buries them alive, but not before setting up a series of video cameras to record their final moments. I guess he does kind of bury them alive, but not really. He buries them for like the neck up. Or sorry, neck down. Neck up would, that would have been done way faster. I guess they're still buried, but I don't know. When I hear buried alive, I feel like
fully buried, but they're still buried, right?
They're still buried.
I mean, the AI is pretty spot on.
This is getting pretty good. The crate. A college professor discovers a mysterious wooden crate under a staircase. Inside the crate is a terrifying creature that wreaks havoc at the university, prompting the professor to seek help from a colleague to get rid of it. They are creeping up on you. A wealthy and germophobic businessman, Upson Pratt, resides in a sterile and isolated penthouse. However, he soon finds himself battling a massive infestation of relentless cockroaches, leading to a chilling climax. Through the stories, the creep appears periodically, providing transitions between each segment and tying the tales together. In the epilogue, Billy confronts his father as the creep watches from outside. No.
Okay.
That's not, yeah, that no. The film ends with the revelation that Billy's revengeful spirit is transformed into the creep, exacting his revenge on his father. Also, he has a voodoo doll. He has a voodoo doll and he's stabbing the voodoo. He doesn't like turn into the creep. Creepshow combined elements of horror suspense and dark humor, capturing the essence of the classic horror comic book experience. It remains a beloved cult classic among horror fans, showcasing the collaborative talents of George A. Romero and Stephen King. All right, so
for the most part, it got it.
Shy for the epilogue landing. Everything else was pretty much intact. So
that's been the least successful of this segment. Sometimes it's wildly wrong.
Sometimes it's really, really wrong. I guess when you have 5 short stories inside a larger story, it probably. We'll see how AI gets other ones.
Well, my thought is the fact that I feel like this is so beloved and well known and been around since 1982, and there's probably a lot of shit on it that it has a lot to actually
so much more
work
information
with and give something maybe more accurate. Only thought, but
yeah,
that's it. I think that's Creepshow.
That's Creepshow. All right, let's get into IMDb behind the scenes. God, I love that fucking. All right, so. Let's talk about some behind the scenes stuff. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I had to really edit down the amount of behind the scenes stuff I was going to talk about. I'll probably do some sprinkling when we're getting to each one of them. I would highly recommend the documentary Just Desserts, which is basically a full-length documentary of behind the scenes of Creepshow. It's a fantastic watch. So, first little tidbit, the marble ashtray that you see in Father's Day, the murder weapon in Father's Day, actually floats around and is in every single segment of Creepshow. So it is in it's shown to the viewer multiple times. In Father's Day, obviously, it's the murder weapon, the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill. It's next to the cash box at the Department of Meteors. Something to tide you over on the nightstand next to Richard's bed. The crate, it's on the writing desk when Henry writes the letter to Wilma. They're creeping up on you. The soap dish Upson Pratt is using is the ashtray. And then the wraparound story, it's actually on Billy's desk when he first starts stabbing the voodoo doll.
Oh, okay.
And a little bit of extra trivia. Have you seen the TV show on Shudder?
Yes.
There's an episode about a dollhouse And in that episode,
yes,
it has the ashtray in the dollhouse.
Oh, yes, nice. It does. And it's got a version of Old Chief Woodenhead from part 2.
The second one.
Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, if you haven't seen the TV series, is really fun too. Okay, so obviously Leslie Nielsen's in this movie, and he's actually playing like a serious role in comparison to what we all know him for, which is really like funny, just comedic and lampooning roles. Mm-hmm. So he was completely straight-laced the entire time he was filming, but when he was behind the scenes, he had a fart machine in his pocket that he would use in between takes.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
while people were shooting, he would do it during rehearsals. Apparently, he would do it right before Romero would call action. So there's a lot of scenes of Ted Danson just losing his shit right when they start filming.
Of course.
So during a break in filming, Stephen King took his son, who is Billy, that is Joe Hill. They went to like McDonald's or something like that, but while he was still in the abused kid makeup, that was so realistic that apparently they sat down to eat and the people at the McDonald's called the police on Stephen King. So he got interrogated by police with his son there. Now, this is a little bit of a EC kind of comic reference. So the 10-cent Creepshow comic book featured in the film was drawn and inked by veteran artist Jack Kamen, one of the original EC artists for the 1950s. So Jack Kamen also created the poster of the film as well. Originally, so there's also a comic book that actually got released that coincided with the film that was completely illustrated by Bernie Wrightson.
Oh, cool.
It's so good. I actually have a signed copy from Bernie when I got to meet him at a convention. It's one of the it's so good because it's so on par with the movie. Like the illustrations are fantastic, and it does that little bit more gore. It's got a little bit more, especially like the crate. You get some really good shots of Billy getting eaten. It's chef's kiss. Originally, Stephen King wanted Graham Ingalls from The Haunted Fear to kind of do the artwork for the movie poster, but he flat out refused. Then they talked to head of EC Comics, William N. Gaines, who suggested Jack Kamen to do the assignment, and Kamen accepted wholeheartedly, and he loved the project.
That's cool that they went to Gaines.
Yeah. I like the fact that like they were such huge EC comic fans that like, obviously, I would love to have seen a Graham Ingalls cover of Creepshow or the poster. That would have been wild because his illustrations in Haunted Fear are so loose and gooey. Like if Goo was a comic book artist, it would absolutely be Graham Ingalls. Like it's just everything's dripping and gory and sinews, and his corpses and zombies were just always so much. All right, now we're gonna get into the first 6. That's why God made fathers, babe. That's why God made fathers. Now the first 6 usually goes into scenes, plot, kills, all that kind of fun stuff. We're going to do it a little differently in this. Obviously, for the anthology horror film, we're going to be doing each segment as its own little thing as we kind of go through. Let's kind of start off with the tie around though.
Let's get sloppy.
Let's get sloppy. Let's just do it.
I don't know. I felt like saying that.
That was good.
I'm sloppy tonight.
Sloppy.
Hey.
Saturday sloppy. No, it's all right. Let's get our beginning and it sounds fun. The beginning and end. Let's get the wraparound story here. So we've got
epilogue.
Dude.
Let's get the logs.
And the Omega. Let's get the logs. Let's get the logs out of the way.
Tom Atkins as father of the fucking year.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get oh my god.
So why is he so upset that his kid has a comic book?
People really hated this stuff.
They really did. When they had,
because it's horror.
What is it? The
Satanic Panic.
Well, specifically the horror one. Because I was trying to look around his room. I was like, he's got other I don't know, nerdy shit in there, but it's the horror comic. That's
he's got the problem. He's got Dracula and a few other horror things in there. But it kind of just resonates from parents of that. Although it's filmed in the 80s, it's more of the homage to like this legitimately freaked out parents during the 50s. And
it's the reason for the Comics Code Authority was these horror comics.
Yes. Specifically, I think it was Tales of Suspense. There's we had a severed woman's head with
right?
with a hatchet.
Oh God, a shitty copy is like $500.
Oh yeah. I have a reprint issue of that from like the 90s. But again,
I have a reprint as well.
But you're 100% right. That literally like EC Comics in and of itself was kind of the scapegoat to a larger issue with a bunch of these horror comics that kind of came out. But yeah, this is basically what sparked it, and parents fucking hated it.
Yeah,
hated it.
You just go slap your kid.
You slap your kid, which is super weird because it's actually like if you slow the movie down, Stephen King was on set. He was so freaked out by his son possibly getting slapped that I think it's Joe Hill's left hand that slaps himself. Like it's. which is so weird. And it's also that painted slap mark is on his face way before the slap, which makes it it's so much. Yeah, it's so good.
If you slow it down.
if you slow it down.
You definitely have many times. I get it.
So I
love this movie so much. I've watched it, the whole thing in slow-mo and the whole thing in fast-mo, just to see how it goes.
And backwards.
Which kind of introduces us to obviously the comic book Creepshow that gets thrown out and all that kind of stuff. But we also get introduced to the Creep, or lovingly as it's known as Raoul. This is an actual skeleton that they had procured and Savini did all of his like effects work on.
Okay,
like a real human skeleton.
Yes, yeah.
Savini's all about like it's like just get a snake, get a real one.
Maybe he's not that good because he just gets everything real.
We'll just fill it with real bugs.
And they actually make a I don't know which season or honestly episode of the new TV show Creepshow, but they actually have a skeleton museum of real skeletons used in horror movies, and Raoul's one of them. So it's like they actually show what the actual Raoul is. There we go. The Creep.
That's awesome. Where does the name come from? Raoul.
It was just kind of a nickname. Same thing with the Crate. Like the Crate, they nicknamed the. Yeah. They it's Fluffy. So basically, they nicknamed the Crate Beast Fluffy. It's the same thing with Raoul. I think they, from what I read, I could be 1,000% wrong. I don't know of a specific instance of why they named him Raoul, but it's just that's what his name was.
Oh sure, okay. No, I can see that happening. Being on set, you're on the set, you have a prop. It just somebody calls it that, then it catches on type of thing.
Yeah,
totally. And I think Raoul and Fluffy was one of the first. I would say we're kind of jumping a little bit, but it kind of makes.
Yeah, I thought we were following the segments, not jumping around.
Come on, Ross.
Segments. I know. But they're both animatronics, and this is actually the first time that Tom Savini did animatronics for both of them in his career. Fluffy was the main one, and then, funny enough, most of the segment where like you actually see the creep moving basically got edited out because they added that animation scene right on top.
Okay.
Animation looks better.
The intro to this movie with all of the comic panels is just so good. So effing good. All right, guys, let's get into Father's Day.
Okay,
great. Interesting. Cool. Oh my God, how did I feel about this one? I really love the creature makeup, the father.
Oh, Nate. Yeah, dude, that makeup it's so good. I like that they used Rice Krispies for the maggots. Is one of my favorite things on top of that. So all the weird pox and maggots and stuff like that is just basically Rice Krispies on top of the sculpture and stuff. I love the fact in Father's Day, and actually a big theme in this is that a bunch of horrific shit happens during the day. So like,
oh yeah,
Bedelia shows up to this grave during the day, and then kind of just like, oh God, just the interaction of the family. Like Ed Harris is like the new guy married in, and he's meeting all of these really rich elitist people.
Yeah. So that's how we're learning about what the hell this family's about.
And they're so open about the fact that Bedelia murdered her father in cold blood. I mean, again, nobody's a saint here because Nate himself had her lover murdered. That whole sequence was hilarious.
I'm
too.
a little confused on all that. I'm sure you are not, but I was like not following.
He Dick Cheney the lover.
Yeah, he completely Dick Cheney'd the lover. Yeah, he was a super overbearing, controlling father who kind of had his daughter under his thumb. A man came in who was also older, like 75 or something like that. What was the line? It was like, yeah, it was a real September courtship. And then the sister comes in and goes, October at best. This man was like 75 years old. Like it was, he was very fucking old. And died in a hunting accident. I'll drop it in the Discord when this episode drops. There's a scene missing that Tom had sculpted, is that you see when like Ed Harris lights the match and they talk about him getting killed in a hunting accident, you see the shotgun the blast and then him fall back. There's a following scene that happens where you actually see like this dude's face blown off.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So they kind of cut a little bit of the gore out.
Sure. That would have taken it to a whole different level. That would have gave Sam a 6, maybe.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
I do, cinematography wise, and this is throughout the entire thing, I really do like the idea of being in a comic book, and if you're allowing yourself to get in, like really immersed in that ecosystem, as in like some of the flashback scenes where the guy gets shot and killed, where it's like he it has that weird like comic book border that's like everything's black on the background except for like the squiggles or like weird lines and stuff like that.
I think it's the dad's framing after he gets hit with the ashtray. That comic book frame.
The blood drips and everything.
The blood cloud thing just around his body. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Even Bedelia getting to the estate with all those driving scenes that have the panels next to each other as they stop and go was just awesome.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, Brian. I think the makeup effects on Nate were super fucking cool. I also like the auditory, like when he talks. It's amazing, like especially in zombie movies, because I mean Nate's a zombie. Not a lot of them talk. Like none of them talk. Specifically in Romero's, none of them talked, except for maybe hints of Bub towards like, you know, Day of the Dead. But like, dude, the filter that are on all of these creatures in this movie are fucking outstanding. Nate's
I find them very hard to understand. Very hard to understand. Like the second time watching it, I picked up a lot more what they were saying. The first time I had no clue whatsoever, like at all.
Sure. I always watch things with subtitles, so I naturally just had them on and watched it. So I think I picked it up by seeing that. But yeah, I can understand that.
I think Nate's is more gravelly. I think when you get to like Something to Tide You Over with the ghosts that are in that, it's a little different, like as in like it's bubblier, but this one like actually feels like it's gravelly and very distorted. Like,
well, it's like mechanical sounding when they go through them. They're like as if they're through speakers or electronics or something. Mm-hmm. But the second time I did understand him a lot more than I understood. Yeah. Our two later zombies, they were still, I only got bits and pieces.
I know when I was a kid, I would used to, you talk in front of a fan.
Oh, yes.
I would literally get in front of a fan and say, "Where's my cake?
Where's my cake?
Bedelia." I feel like Ross was probably doing that at the same time.
Yeah, where's my cake? Yeah, God, yeah. You're saying like the flashback scene is fucking amazing, and her like Bedelia just having the mental breakdown and just caving that dude's skull in the entire time, where it's just like, Bedelia, you bitch. And then I like the fact she harks on that so much on top of his grave. She's like just drinking whiskey and then being like, "You bitch, you called me a bitch."
Hell yeah. I mean, that dude sucked. Like, I was happy he got murdered, and I was not happy that he returned and got his cake. I was like, what the fuck? You don't deserve this.
No. No. It is. And I think that's what's kind of interesting about some of these themes, especially in the EC route, is that, like, even though Nate was a despicable person and the family is this very elitist, obviously a lot of skeletons in the closet when it comes to their lives, is that like even though Nate was a bad guy, in the act of killing him, it still deserves some kind of revenge, albeit like misguided. You know what I mean? Because it's like, Ed Harris's character is fucking collateral damage. And can we talk? I know we already talked about it. Can we talk about Ed Harris's dancing in this fucking segment?
Sure. I need to talk about his death as well, but go ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
Dancing then death.
Dancing that we'll dance then die.
Oh, the dance macabre.
Oh, dude. Don't let go. Apparently this entire thing was improv. Like they just told him to dance and he was like, you want me to do what? He goes, why don't you dance? And he's like, all right, sure. And he just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept it in the movie. And I love it.
Yeah.
Even the girls' dance was just her jumping around. It didn't seem like she was really dancing either.
It was like a bunch of ferrets in people suits trying to be like, trying to like act casual and be like, oh my God, we have to dance. Have you ever danced before? I have no idea how to do that. All right, let's figure it out.
The dancing didn't stand out that much to me.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, it just seemed like...
All right, we need to see Sam dance right now because I think maybe...
I mean, white people dancing in the 80s is not actual dancing.
I think it's the head nod where he's going towards the boombox. He goes like, oh, and then kind of backs up.
He's just feeling the music, man.
Okay, well, now, all right, we'll get to his death. All right, so he goes out to get a smoke, and he's going to go out to see Aunt Bedelia and all that kind of fun stuff.
He lights the match in the coolest way possible.
Absolutely, on top of it.
Above his head on the wall.
Nice. Yeah.
So good.
Without looking.
Yeah. He gets to the gravesite. He sees the bottle of whiskey. He's about to take a drink, and he just accidentally slides into an open grave. And BT dubs, I guess one of the perks about being a resurrected corpse is that you now get telekinesis.
Yes.
Because he like ghost unless he's Magneto and that whole thing was metal, he ghost trained it and kind of just moved it towards him.
Concreto.
Creepo.
Yeah, he has the power to control concrete.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead of steel stuff. Okay.
That's right.
I'm there for it.
All right, that's fine. I do like where he tries getting out of the grave and like Bedelia's body just rolls on top of him.
Does it roll on top of him? I didn't understand why he didn't get out of the grave.
Either did I.
It seemed like he just kept considering it. He'd watch the thing about.
But he felt like if I move,
it's
gonna fall.
I'll continue to lay here and just wait.
Let's just hope.
Maybe it won't fall.
Maybe it's T-Rex rules. If I don't move,
it doesn't do
nothing happens.
It really did because like he lands in that thing and he kind of was like, oh fuck, and then it moves more and he's like, oh shit, and I think he's trying to move out, and that's when the body rolls on him, and then he sees Nate, and then he's like, oh shit, and then we get one of the best Foley artists. I mean, this is like New Year's Evil level Foley artist.
Here we go for the Foley.
The head splat when he gets crushed, he gets that like, ugh! And then it's just a legit.
I'm sorry, Rush. You sounded like a horny anime girl just now.
Oh no! It was the splat. It was the splat.
Oh,
to this day, every time I hear that splat, I laugh out loud. Like it's just.
Oh sure.
It's so comic book, and just because I'm picturing it above the panel, huge as shit, like a Batman comic from the '60s, where it just has splat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that didn't come up on screen.
Right. Oh, I didn't even bring this up. We also have the introduction to one of the most interesting and honestly works for this movie 1,000% lighting techniques of all time. When Nate gets out of the grave, the red and blue lighting, that's a consistent theme throughout this movie. I fucking love. And I know I brought it up in Revealer a bunch, but like, this lighting style I love so much. Like nothing screams like surrealist comic book than those tight scenes.
Sometimes the background behind them would just be like abstract line work lit red and blue.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So good.
I hate to do this to you guys. I have to go off on a tangent for just a second. I just got a message from Josh.
Oh boy.
Asking if you guys have made me do the initiation ritual yet.
Oh no! What did we make?
Where I have to where I have to chug a whole bottle of olive oil on camera?
Oh yeah, we were saving that for later.
We're gonna save it. It was going to be after the break.
Let them know you did it.
Right.
Yeah. Tell them we made you
Patrons
do that.
only.
Yeah, this is a Patreon thing now.
Yeah.
He can see it if he signs up for Patreon.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's usually we have our guests chug an entire thing of olive oil while All of Me, Why Not Take All of Me, is playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually, it's weird. If you finish the whole thing of olive oil in the duration of the song, that's when we mail you the Publishers Clearinghouse swag bag for Chuddle.
Oh, damn it. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I use coconut oil. So.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
next time we'll make sure to get that going on the next episode.
Okay. Sorry. That's nature of my podcast is tangents. So go ahead.
Well, you said they just pop in and out apparently when you're recording. They're doing it to us now. Okay, so
he gets up to the house. Now they're just stuck there. They're all half drunk, and now Ed Harris is gone. Bedelia's gone. So I think it's the aunt goes out to the kitchen and is gonna go check. Okay, so oh my God, Miss Danvers, the maid, cook, helper, outer. When her face slap-a-doos on the fucking circle window of the double door thing to the kitchen, not now because I've seen it 10,000 times, but at least for the first 100 times, for whatever reason, that fucking got me. Like it, even when I knew it was gonna happen, just the quick like dunk, and then the like the immediate piano like dun 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 dun, like it just fucking got me. I don't know.
Little baby Wasp was so scared.
I was like, "Oh shit!" Because that clearly,
I can see it.
That woman's clearly dead.
Big boy Brian wasn't scared like once during this movie.
No, never.
Not even close.
We know Sam wasn't. Sam's not scared of anything
at all. But we do get Nate in the kitchen, and that good old head twist, that 180 head twist on her was fucking great. Which does lead into the oh my God. Him saying, "Oh my God," is the worst. Like, it's so funny to me when they both go back to the kitchen and then Nate comes out with the head cake and he's like, "I got my cake." And then that's when all the really like illustrated backgrounds happen. And then the brother, like the girl, like the sister guy's like screams, but then he like the brother does that like, oh, wait on. I can't even do it with my mic on it. Right? Oh my God. Like it's the way he says, "Oh my God," makes me laugh every single time I see it because it's just like so over the top.
Yeah, there is certainly a lot about this that's over the top.
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Where it's just like, and like every time I watch it, I'm like, God, that is such an old school comic book way of just like the huge exaggerated faces and then just the huge monumental blow up scene in the end, which is Nate finally did get his cake for Father's Day. And it is a severed woman's head with a bunch of whipped cream and candles.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking so good.
Again, the visuals, the effects on this were so cool.
So fucking
all
good.
Of that stuff.
Which leads us into our second story, which is the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill.
This one has Stephen King.
Stephen King as Jordy Verrill.
Yes, delivering the most subtle and nuanced performance you've ever seen an actor deliver.
Dude, oh my God. Two behind the scenes things about this is that so when they were talking about Jordy Verrill's character, Romero was like, Steven's like, "How do you want me to like do this character?" He's like, "I don't like, do you want me to play him like really dumb? Do you want me to play like how am I supposed to do this?" Romero's quote to Stephen King was, "I need you to play him like Wile E. Coyote after he's gone off the cliff." That was the only direction that he gave him, like that weird look of like the look of Wile E. Coyote right before he's about to drop off the cliff, where he looks at the camera. That he goes, "That's how you need to play this character the entire time."
I'd be like, well, now I definitely don't know what to do.
Which is weird.
I'm a writer. This is hard.
Well,
Can you give me
makes
a little
sense
more
because he's
direction?
got like these anime eyes the whole time. He's just like just sucking on his fingers, like just.
Well, it's like the most over the top portrayal of an idiot I've ever seen, in like a movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I've seen Dinner for Schmucks.
It's weird that Stephen King would ask that because he created the fucking character.
Right?
You would think, just how did you picture him in your head?
Oh, exactly. Like, how did you want him to be portrayed?
How am I supposed to play this? Did you write it?
And apparently...
That would have been a better direction. Yeah, George A. Romero's like, I want you to be like...
But so while watching this, I had to step away before I got my horror history, but I had never seen this before until now. However, I have had the DVD for about 20 years because somebody gave it to me on my birthday in high school. And if it was my 17th birthday, I just turned 37, so it could be right around 20 years.
God.
And I've hung on to it the whole time and never watched it. I thought I had until I did watch it and was like, oh, I've definitely never seen this. But while watching it for the first time, I was like, oh, Ross fucking loves this guy. Like,
you know what's funny though is that like the Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, realistically, was my least favorite of the 5 segments. He's, for better choice of words, he's grown on me over the years. Because of how he, like you said, he's so over the top. And then even his dream sequences where like it's like the college and the doctor.
I like
it's, dude, it's the department. It's like, it's what an it's just like what an absolute idiot would fantasize about what a doctor's office or what like the College of Meteors would be.
Sure.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this character that Stephen King is playing type. Would really think like that. Yeah, exactly. Complete idiot. I really did like what he transformed into. I liked his final turtle form. His turtle form and was everything. Amazing. I thought that was neat.
Mm-hmm. The growth of it too, as in like
all the transformation.
Okay, so here's this is a little tidbit from this thing that was in the Just Desserts. So apparently they had the budget. They built this farmhouse in this field. So like they built it and then they staged it and then they had a bunch of stuff on the inside and then they slowly started putting that moss on it over the course of like days and weeks. Apparently there was a local airstrip that it was freaking people out because obviously if you're in a Cessna and you're flying around, you're using physical landmarks to like figure out where you're at before you land. So a bunch of pilots kept on calling in to air control going like, hey, I know I'm at this thing, but I'm staring at a farmhouse covered in moss that looks like it's been there 100 years. And I've never seen that before. He goes, am I in the right location? Apparently it confused so many pilots that they had to like figure out a way of telling them when they were flying in that, oh no, there's a movie set that just was built like in a week.
So there's this farmhouse that looks like it's been there forever that hasn't been there forever.
It hasn't been there forever.
So pilots are pretty
sign.
Yeah, dumb.
You are here.
So was this Stephen King's first movie appearance?
You know, I think it is. I would say it is. I could be wrong, though, because I mean, in a lot of no, wait a second. No, he likes to Hitchcock himself in a lot of his other works.
Right, but did that start after Creepshow?
Oh, that's a really good point. I don't know that.
You keep talking. I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, because I don't know if he's like really name his big acting roles. Like
this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
He was that one guy in that Stephen King movie. He was that other guy in a Stephen King movie.
Yeah, he popped in at this point in this. He was also exactly. The other. This Stephen is King like guy. Him like playing a part. I mean, he's the main character of the segment. But yeah, this one ultimately, I was like, I had fun with certain aspects of it, but at the end of it, I was like, all right. What was the point?
It's
just to watch this guy kill him.
Other ones kind of have like a moralistic story to them, right? And this is just like an idiot touched an asteroid and now he has to kill himself.
Yeah,
no, it is totally where it's like it's the weird. I mean, that's pretty much the entire fucking segment.
I mean, this is the story of a turtle, I guess.
It is. It's the birth of a turtle.
It was not his first appearance.
Okay,
he was in a movie called Night Riders.
Oh, with
Night Riders
with Tom Savini, where they're all like motorcycle medieval guys, right?
Yeah, he played Hoagie Man.
That's awesome.
Sounds about
I've
right.
heard about Knight Riders. I've never actually seen Knight Riders before. Now I will have to go watch that. No, but yes, I think with all the other ones, like I think you guys said it correctly. Like it's all like revenge stuff, or like just crazy happenstance, or like something turns into revenge, or just weird things. And I think like unfortunately,
or like the characters are bad.
Yes.
That something happens to them.
And for him,
or there's
like,
there's some sort of
what's wrong with
moral
this guy?
thing. Well, I think I actually had some thought on this because I knew this was going to get brought up. I think
in your face
for Jordy Verrill, I think for Jordy, honestly, it's a mixture of his greed to sell this thing immediately after seeing it, because he's like, man, I can make like a fucking shit ton of money if I just bring this down to the college. That's why he throws water on it, which causes the whole circumvention of events.
Yeah.
So it's like a mixture of his stupidity and his greed leads to his death, which is like, I don't know.
Boo.
It's a hard point to make in a movie like this.
Oh, 100%. Honestly, but it does
better. Yeah.
But the title, honestly, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill, it's literally just about this lonely dude who fucking accidentally breaks something and then just dies. He's a turtle. And you bring that up. So
sucks to you, bro.
Throws water on this thing, cracks open. Ew, meteor shit.
Meteor shit.
Just slopping that stuff around. And like you said, it turns into this ginormous alien growth. I think the subtlety of, not really subtle, but like the burns, he burns his fingers and he's licking and fucking sucking on the burns on his fingers. You look down and those horrible white-headed fucking wart blob things.
Hate them.
Disgusting.
Hate it. Get out of here.
The shot of him when he looks down at his hand and he's got the moss on his fingertips. 2 bumps. And then he goes into the mirror and sticks his tongue out and he's got the fucking moss on his tongue. Was just, the lighting behind that was so awesome, where the whole background turns green and then him just like,
cool, yeah.
Little tidbit too. Before hopping into a bath, which is a horrible thing if you're covered in a plant-like substance, I'm pretty sure you don't want to be watering it. But he gets haunted by his dad. And apparently during this, Bingo O'Malley is the Jordy's dad in this movie. And apparently while he was doing that entire sequence in the mirror of the medicine cabinet and stuff like that, George was kind of like trying to direct him. Steven was in the background just making ludicrous faces at him the entire time. And he thought he was taunting him to the point where like they almost had like a fight. And he's like, was I good at, like, was I helping out? Like Stephen King was literally like, was I doing it to do it well? He goes, doing what? He goes, well, I wanted you to portray like, you're mad at your idiot son. So I was just making faces at you.
Interesting. A lot of interesting choices on the set.
Yeah. So fucking
movie full of interesting choices, no doubt.
So weird. And then a bunch of vodka and a bunch of orange juice happens, and we get Chuddle Jordy Verrill, which is now a complete plant person. And in that beautiful Creepshow muffled voice, dear God, please don't let me fuck this way. Like he's literally just asking God, just a favor. I just don't want to fuck this up. I just want to die. Just let me fucking die. And he does. He blows the top of his fucking.
What a churtle thing to say. Like,
exactly. At that point, I was like,
get this right.
God, it was so fucking stupid. I wish I could just kill myself, and I hope that works.
Oh God. Yeah. He pops his top, dude. And then I think I do like the ominous apocalyptic ending to that segment, though, where like he's dead. The entire farm is completely covered in this alien substance. And then in the background on the TV, it's like, you guys are going to hate it, but your farmer's going to love it. The forecast is just rain, nutrients, and everything to make it. It's going to be so green, you're going to think it's a miracle or like miraculous or something like that. As we get that panning shot of Boston sign, Castle Rock, which is in the mythos of Stephen King. A lot of crazy shit happens in Castle Rock.
There's the TV show about the monsters who live in a castle and form a rock band.
What?
Continue.
Wait, what?
Yes, Sam, continue.
That show on Hulu, Castle Rock, that's what it's about,
No,
right?
you're thinking Fraggle Rock.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't. I don't think so. See, I should have done that. As in, as he blows his botany brains out.
Hey, there it is.
There we go.
There's our alliteration.
That's our
alliteration.
Have to. All right.
Let's start over from the top.
Yes.
What's happening?
Let's do it.
All right, from the top.
From the top.
Let's
do it again.
Over. Come on.
All right. Something to tide you over. Leslie Nielsen playing the straight man is kind of awesome. Like, I've seen him in a few straight roles before, and he was a serious actor before doing all the, like, the Naked Gun stuff, and, you know. He's really good. I really like Something to Tide You Over. This entire sequence and segment to me was really fucking good.
Yeah, it was definitely
agree.
Yeah, like
good. I mean, Ted Danson acting opposite of
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen was awesome.
So
it was
good.
a dream. It's what we've all waited for.
And
I wish we could have just got late Ted Danson with his white wig.
Oh yeah.
You know he wears a wig, right? Hairpiece.
No, I did not know that.
I know he had a toupee.
Yeah, he's very vocal about it. He's talking, toupee. He's talked for like since like Cheers, like forever.
Awesome.
And
I had no idea.
Yeah,
loud and proud, brother.
Yeah, it's great.
Sam Malone wears a
Love
toupee.
Right. Hey,
there was actually an episode of Cheers where he like showed Carla that his hair was a toupee. It was towards the end of the series.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, he's all been all about it. So I mean, that's sweet. I mean, his white hair is great. I love it.
It's perfect.
If you look at later stage,
good for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing.
I would
honestly,
love to see that against
Leslie Nielsen's just that bone
that
white
voice.
Hair is just so iconic, so good,
and that voice too. I mean, all of it. Yeah. It was just great to hear him again.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Yeah.
I
was like, I need to watch Airplane.
I was like, I want to watch Naked Gun stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I like how
Empire scene's pretty funny.
I like how conniving he is, and like slowly as this segment kind of goes through, you realize how batshit crazy he is too, because he's playing it really straight. He's not playing it neurotic. He's not playing it like he's playing it cool and calculated the entire time. But like as he coaxes Danson to the beach, thinking it's an open grave, and you're like, fuck. Like he's just waiting to see his lover in this pit, and he realizes it's empty, and now he's got to bury himself, and then she's got a gun on him. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever buried yourself in sand, but like
I have.
Like, I don't know. As a kid, I think that's actually a really good point, Sam, that you make, is that like as a kid, you would do dumb shit like, hey, I'm going to bury myself in sand, and like do a bunch, you know what I mean? Like the nostalgic factor of like, I don't know, going to the beach and like just, I don't know. Just
Sam's like, what
when
point?
did I make that point?
Oh, no. As in like my nostalgic kick of like, this would be for younger viewers than adult viewers. Yeah. So it's like, as a kid, like I'm realizing that Ted Danson, like getting buried up to his neck, I was like, oh, I've actually experienced that feeling before, and it's horrifying. Like especially when you can't physically move out of that position. Like,
Sure.
Oh, see, as a kid, I would have more related to the husband of your lover shows up at your house and whisks you away to try and seek revenge on you.
Sam has an old soul. He's very mature for his
super mature.
I was like, don't worry, dude. She didn't want anything from you. She just wanted to be with me.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I missed. Is he like? How is he buried?
Okay,
how is his body up and down?
The way he did,
I think he had to like sit in that hole.
He's on his knees.
So is it like crisscross applesauce on his knees?
He's on his knees. That's what he said. I need you to get on your knees and bury yourself up to the neck. So basically, he's on his knees and then kind of buried and then up to. And I guess Leslie kind of just filled up the rest of it. I have an ongoing theory though.
Sort of taps it down with the shovel once he's all in
tap.
Yeah.
I do have a theory.
That's escapable.
I think the crab was trying to help him.
Oh, you're Team Crab.
I'm Team Crab. Okay. I'm definitely Team Crab. Are you kidding me? Like the next scene is that like
he's gonna dig him out.
He's gonna dig him out. It's a crab. He's like, it's a crab, maybe. It might take me a few hours, if not days, but I'll try to get you out.
All you gotta do is loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little
wiggle. Wiggle a little
exactly.
bit.
The wiggle. If you've ever been buried in sand, I would always try to be able to how to figure it out.
Yeah, totally. You can
start doing the wiggle, and you can do it. Especially, that's what I was saying. I was thinking, especially if he was up and down, Like
it'd be like impossible.
That'd be a lot harder.
Totally.
But you're kind of like squatting at this point. You can
if you're squatting, you can create more negative space in there,
leverage or
so
something.
that
but he even proves it.
You
where
have
he's
more room to start the wiggle.
I want you to move, and he's like, try to move. By all means, you can scream, you can yell. I like the fact that this place is called Comfort Point, and then he calls his house the Comfort Station. It's such a, I don't know, that's such a weird fucking thing to call your shit.
Oh, the comfort.
So his money is from electronics or something?
He's like
I would think so.
He's like electronic nut, basically. He likes recording everything. Like he's got security cameras in his house.
Well, and he criticizes Ted Danson's. He's like, I'm surprised you didn't notice the picture wasn't working well. Your cables are a bit loose back here.
He could.
Well, it seems like he's
into
huge technology,
into tech.
baby.
Yeah.
That top of the line VHS technology.
I mean,
82, I thought about that. I was like, damn, not many people probably had this.
Was Betamax? Well, yeah, VHS was around, right? So then they would have Betamax.
I don't know which one it was.
Laserdisc, did that jump on yet?
In 82?
No.
Not yet.
VHS had just started in 82.
Yeah.
Because I remember one of the first, we used to have to rent a VCR from Publix. And we would rent movies.
A VCR from Publix.
A top-loading VCR. And one of the first movies my parents rented after we got it was Creepshow, so they could watch it again.
That's awesome.
Cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
And in fact, my dad used to love playing with the frame by frame. And the scene in Father's Day where the aunt gets her head snapped, he would do that frame by frame.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my dad was weird.
I love that.
I think it was amazing. When I was watching this. It did remind me of specifically remembering when supermarkets had a video section that you could go and rent or buy movies from. I was like, yeah, like not everyone was getting on the train, and that's how you did it. You could go, get your groceries and
rent a movie.
I definitely got
rent movies.
Bought movies from the little library at Publix and. Farmore or Eckerd, one of the
there was something else.
Pharmacies had video rental in it.
Yes, I can't remember. There's another one that was by my house down there as well that did that too that I don't remember. Laserdisc was first released in 1978.
What?
So it wasn't popular by any means, probably. It never got really popular, I'd say. But yeah, there's probably like one video, and it was probably some weird like medical video that you could get.
I have Back to the Future on Laserdisc.
I have some random episode or Doctor Who movie special on Laserdisc.
I'm just thinking about it. He has to work in electronics because the amount of just wire that he had to do from his house all the way to the beach.
He's doing that himself.
He's doing that 100% himself. What? That's miles of. He also buried.
Well, if he's rich and an aficionado.
I guess, because
that can get you anything.
Because he's got two setups. Not only is Ted Danson's character,
and he's running a live feed.
He's doing a live feed, but he's also got Becky on the opposite end of the beach, also buried, also being recorded. But unfortunately, she can't see. She can't see him.
Ted Danson, because, but he can see her
because the tide came up too fast, and he couldn't put a TV out there or something like that. That's how he describes it. Yeah. So we get the TV of just but God, oh my God, just the idea of you've now volunteered begrudgingly by gunpoint to be buried up to your neck, and then he shows back up, and then he literally is like, "You're not getting out. I'm going to kill you. I mean, you might survive if you can hold your breath." And he's showing how his lover, who's now drowning on the other side of the beach, is like, no. See, she's panicking. You can't panic. You gotta remain cool. You gotta hold your breath. And like that whole sequence to me was sadistic. Really fucked up, especially for like
very cold, sadistic. Yeah. From Leslie Nielsen.
Totally. Which is
in that Leslie Nielsen voice.
That sweet
Which
voice.
Is this voice? Can you tell him?
Leslie, you came back for Chuddle the Pod?
That's right.
Wow. Dead and loving it.
Hey,
Leslie Nielsen.
That's the thing. When he gets home,
Ted Danson.
Speaking of Ted Danson, when Ted Danson turns to the fucking camera and eye fucks him, like he's like, "I'm gonna get you, Richard. I'm gonna fucking get you. I'm gonna get you, Richard." That see, I don't know, that whole subsequent scene of him doing that and then them, like you kind of have the mannequin head because obviously they didn't really bury Ted Danson right by the beach with like the camera and stuff. But like when the tide rolls in, he does that. Oh my God. The whole sequence of him underwater drowning with the red rage coming out from behind his head was so fucking good. The lighting in this movie just so goddamn good.
I love, the beautiful visuals.
So here's a question I have for you guys, because I've been having this debate for centuries, for a millennia. I think that the resurrected bodies of Harry and Becky are ghosts and they're not zombies. The only reason I say that is because when now we have the mist in the cameras because you can't, like he has his entire place on lockdown. So like when the ghosts show, when Harry and Becky, now waterlogged and really fucked up looking and covered in seaweed, are showing up to his place, you can't see them on video. And then you open the door and all these things kind of leading up. They also can teleport.
Right. Yeah, that would be the big one for me.
So I'm leaning that they're more like revenge ghosts than zombies.
Yeah, but I think they can be corporeal, like they can show up physically because obviously they react to getting shot with the like foreheads exploding and
that's very true.
Yeah.
Shooting.
God.
But then he locks himself in the room and they pop up on the other side, so they also have that ghosty, teleporty thing going on.
That entire scene where, oh my God, dude. Okay, so the whole scene of the paranoia of him having the gun, and then they actually show up, and then the first shot goes into Becky's head. We're like, oh God, they're not going down. Oh shit. Oh shit, he's fucked. Oh shit, he's fucked. And then he closes the door, and then you think he's okay. To this day, the turnaround where they're both in the bathroom with him fucking gets me. I don't know, like it's not like like freaks me out, but it's still, I still kind of have.
Oh baby, wow.
Okay, Jen's behind the couch every time.
I got that. I get that tingle. I get that like the cockles for sure. Because like I remember the first time watching that, and then that legitimately I got like that was like okay, I wasn't expecting them.
Of course,
I feel that. It did not get me. I'm sorry.
No, it's understandable, man.
Sam, you don't even need to say that at this point. We know it. You're not scared.
Hey, if this is your first time listening, I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
I do like I love the fact at this.
I'll vouch for it.
This showering sequence too is that he gets out of the shower with the driest hair I've ever seen in my life. Like I love the fact that this man is like it's because you could tell that Leslie.
Well, he hasn't got under yet, right? Because we see him. He's like watching TV. Is the shower head is in like a weird spot too. I feel like he'd have to like duck under it. Anyway,
low shower head, tall boy,
low raised shower head.
What happens to this man,
dude? We just want to take you to the beach. Let's go to the beach.
It's showtime.
He gets taken to the beach. They set up the fucking camera and they traipse back into the ocean. And then he kind of just goes, I can hold my breath a long, long time as a wave crashes into his mouth. And then his eyes get super like, freeze frame,
comic book shot,
which is also my shirt, which you can't see because of my background.
Yeah. Keep doing
your background keeps popping over
everything, dude. Yeah. Little tidbit about this sequence is that there is actually an alternate ending to this story.
Okay, interesting.
So the
I'm here.
So the alternate story is when the goat
they have a threesome.
It's how did you know? Googos. He calls the cops. He thinks that like he thinks that what is it?
The cops come.
Arrest these zombies.
They arrest the zombie ghosts. They take him away.
He thinks that Harry and Becky have survived. He hasn't seen them in full zombie mode yet. So like he calls the police be like, I have these intruders at my house. And then he gets the bejesus scared out of him by these ghosts. But then the cops actually show up and he goes, I have them on tape. He goes to show the recording of the surveillance, which doesn't show anything because you see ahead of time that they can't be recorded on videotape. But what he does have is it miraculously starts showing the interaction between the crime between Harry and him, and him describing how he's murdering them. And he looks over at the cops and he goes, that's not supposed to be on this fucking tape, blah, blah, blah. And then the end scene is him. It goes through like a trial and like he gets sentenced to death. And the end scene is him in the gas chamber screaming, I can hold my breath a long, long time. And that's how the sequence ends.
That feels a little more EC to me.
Yeah.
That he would accidentally show them that whole the way that all played out feels a little more true to the comics.
Super EC. All right, guys, we're getting into fucking one of my favorites of all time. We are getting into The Crate.
Yes.
Which is kind of, given all the other names of the episodes, this is kind of the most basic title.
Yeah, it's not very
most literal,
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a crate. Let's call this one The Crate.
Totally.
Something I would have done.
Yeah. This is just called The Crate. We are introduced to Billy, and Wilma Northrop is, God, she's fucking annoying. It's so annoying to the fact, at least in my copy, the dialogue during that party scene where you get introduced to Henry and Wilma and Dexter and all this kind of stuff at this like college alumni meeting. I'm pretty sure she drops the C word and they had to edit that out and then redub crack or crab on top of that, which is hilarious to me.
Oh.
Isn't it crotch?
Is it crotch? Yeah, crotch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice.
Yeah. No, and you can see like in her words that she's definitely saying cunt, and it's hilarious where I'm like, okay, even the writing got so crazy on this character, like, okay, we got to tone that back just a little bit. Like we need
Stephen King.
Yeah. King, we need to
The cursing in this movie feels like the way a child would curse. It's not used very well in my opinion. It's just like tossed in to like make something funny or like, see, it's for adults. That's why I said shit.
Yeah. Or it's well, what is it? Even the Mike the janitor in this scene where he flips the quarter and drops, I think it's called like fuck a something, where I don't know, it's in subtitles, which makes it even funnier in the sequence. But it's like he drops the quarter, which goes underneath, which he finds this fucking crate in which he calls which one does he call up? He calls up Dex. So he calls up Dex from the party to kind of be like, hey, I've got this ginormous crate. Arctic expedition from June 19th of 1834. So at this point, this crate is 147 years old.
Yeah. Just been chilling.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Just doing stuff.
Maybe it's been eating people the whole time.
All these co-eds have gone missing.
And cleaning up.
That's the prequel one where it's the crate unopened.
Ooh.
I will give. Okay, so
looking at a crate,
just that's it. An hour and a half. It's kind of like Titanic 2, where it's just
the ocean. Titanic,
which is just the ocean for an hour and a half. Okay, Wilma's death scenes in this, the dream sequences of this man fantasizing about murdering his wife. I laugh every single time she gets shot in the head at that party. It's not the fact of like I think the gunshot is fine. I think the gore, the squib is completely fine. I think it's all of them turning around and golf clapping him is so good to me.
Amazing.
It's so fucking great.
That they would all appreciate him like for that. I'd be like, thank you. God. But we're still very civilized here.
This is great. I love this. Fantastic.
All within his fantasy of not just killing his wife, but they're all appreciative. Is fun.
Because everybody hates her as much as he does.
Yeah.
He thinks, which is probably not wrong. I love that he always calls her Wilma every time he talks to her.
What would I do? What would you do without me? So now we are in the college. We get this crate out of its little hidey hole that it's been hiding in, I'm assuming, for probably not since, was it the late 1800s, but probably close to it. I don't know. First off, if you feel something shuffle in a thing that's that old, right? And then you hear something like a chirping, why would you reach immediately into it? Even if you think it's sapphires or like emeralds, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, precious metals.
The chirping of sapphire.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a chirping emerald, I got to get my hands on that.
That's some like...
I couldn't tell you why.
Isn't that like a +5 to dexterity? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I don't know. Nonsense.
Yeah. Although we do get some of the most violent sequences in the film.
Agreed. To me, this sequence and then the last segment, the end of that one, are where the gore.
Oh, totally.
Lies.
When the janitor gets it, when he bites it, I think they were able to get away with so much blood in this because of the red lighting. Because like in the initial scene where it's like he gets bit and the entire thing flops over and like there's just the janitor with his hand still lodged in this before Fluffy kind of makes his grand entrance, is that you have like this huge trickle of blood coming down his arm, and then you get the giant reveal of Fluffy, and this thing is like it's like a Yeti and a dwarf, like a thing of, like, it kind of had a bait, like it's super tiny, like it's super tiny. It's almost like a mini. It's like if you have like a mini pit bull.
It's been living in a crate.
Yeah,
crate-sized Yeti.
Yes, pint size.
What's our crate size? We figure, like,
it's not a massive crate by any standpoint. I think it's probably like
4x4,
4x4, 4x3, maybe. You know what I mean? Like it's not a massive crate.
That is not a massive crate,
but.
Maybe it's the product of some kind of geneticist trying to create a pocket-sized Yeti.
Ooh. Oh,
I like that. I need a pocket-sized Yeti. Pocket monster. Pokemon.
It's a Pokemon. It's literally.
They could only get it down to crate size.
Gotta catch them all. This is only in a crate, though. Like again,
I have this Yeti.
But
it's not crate size.
It's like a bonsai kitten, except it's.
Oh boy!
It's a Yeti crate. It's basically you birth a Yeti, you throw it into a crate, you feed it until it fills the size of the crate. And then it kind of just like, dwarfs itself.
And then you let it sit for 100+ years and it's ready to go.
And then it gets real fucking hungry.
Mm-hmm. That's how you do it.
Dude, oh my God. Okay, well, obviously you get the big reveal, but then it starts eating the janitor. And like, God, the amount of blood. Dude, there's so much blood in this scene, it short circuits the outlets. That's when you know it's a good blood scene.
That's interesting. I don't recall much blood at all.
It's hard though. It's the red filter. Honestly, it's like because the entire thing's shot in red. Is that when he gets bit, it goes all the way through. But there is a copious amount of blood that is coming out of this box. I mean, literally by the end of it, like it short circuits the plug-in because of the amount of blood in it. It's But again, I think the only reason why they were able to get away with it on camera is because it had such a dramatic red filter on it. Because like
to the point where it might not be noticeable if you watched it twice recently.
Yeah, right. I do have to give credit with out of all the different ways of trying to kill your wife, having like you have Dex who obviously the janitor dies, and then we get the super smart kid Charlie, who's played by Robert Harper, who he like incoherently babbles to at the college, and he goes, I'll just go check it out. And in the meantime, obviously Fluffy has put his crate back in its hidey hole, and dude,
how do you think he did that? Just like stuck his little arms out and dragged himself back there?
Oh no, he's out. He was out of the crate because like when Charlie gets killed, he's still out of the crate. You know what I mean? So like,
sure, that's
because they opened the crate, they didn't close it all back up.
So how does he?
Oh, he literally get
back in the crate.
He just crawls back into it.
just for fun.
Well, it's like I think they kind of bring it up, or
It's a safety box. He's been in there for 100+ years.
And I think Dex even says, he goes, oh, he put it back where it was originally from because it's his safe spot. Nobody's touched that thing in 147 years. So it's like, that's the only area it knows where it's like, oh, no one's going to fuck with me. Like, I'll just.
Sure, but he hides outside of it for this kill, but the next kill he's hiding inside of it.
Yeah, because at that point he's eaten 2 people. So like, but the Charlie death is wild because he goes in to try to get
the gore of the film. Well, it's very solid.
Super solid.
I'll say that.
He flips the boot to get the bite ratio, and then we get Fluffy in full fucking attack mode. He gets his like clavicle neck just chomp bit the fuck out. He got, I think part of his arm got bit, and then
you got chomp bit the fuck out.
He got chomp bit the fuck out on that one. Fluffy tore his ass up.
Yeah.
Oh, just the claw hand, and then the scratch down that goes through his eyeball, and then just all that blood. Oh, it's so good. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. It's just so good.
Well, 10-year-old Ross is like,
oh my! I was like, this is what the fuck, right? And then going to Wilbur's house and like explaining the entire situation, or Henry's house. Henry going to Henry's house and kind of explaining all this thing. I really like that Henry takes this seriously. Like, he's like, okay, this is terrible. You're my friend. I want to get you out of this bind. Which any logical person, it's like Dex is not going to be held responsible for a lethal animal that's been kept in there for 100+ years. Like, I don't think the faculty is going to like really go after him for that, where it's like, that's whole subplot is like, I got to cover it up. There's the quarry, I guess, but like, I don't know.
Well, I guess he thinks that nobody's going to believe him for some reason. It's not like the monster. It's not like Fluffy disappears and now he has no like alibi.
Totally, yeah. If he had just like gone in the wind, like I would totally understand the fact of him like being like, oh fuck, I have to cover up these bodies. But like he's just chilling under the stairs, you know. But I do. It's the springboard for like Henry going like, God, that's crazy. Could it kill my wife?
This is a way I could do it without getting caught. All the other ways I fantasize about it
is killing her,
shooting her in the face in front of a crowd of people.
That just won't do.
Yeah, Henry's got a really limited range of like acceptable murder on his wife. That entire segment though of him cleaning up the bodies and cleaning up the crime scene, quote unquote, and all that kind of stuff, while you're hearing that handwritten note to Wilma, just hamming her up and just being like, I know you can do this. Like, you're way better at this.
As you always say, what would I do without you? That felt like a very easy line, like to bring that
just
back.
to bait and switch this to Wilma to show up. So Wilma does show up, and God, I love the fact that he cannot even be in the same room as her for more than 30 seconds, and this motherfucker is just laughing his ass off. He's just like, holy shit. Just
he has to turn around to tell her to like,
go back in there
so she doesn't see
gotta
it.
Go back in this.
Go get it.
And he's and the whole
once you see what he did to her, you'll think it's hilarious. She's like, okay,
yeah, because the entire ruse is that Dex sexually assaulted or physically assaulted a co-ed, and and this woman now is like in a fetal position, crying like a baby underneath the stairs. Is what Wilma's led to believe. Going into this,
she's like, "Oh, sure, I'll help out with that. It's 1982. I'll help cover this up."
I was like, "What the fuck?" I love. Okay, and also in like true EC comic format, is that he lures his wife there, and then he shoves her, and he's just like, "Wait!" And then of course Fluffy's asleep the entire fucking time that he's trying to murder his fucking wife, until she rags on his ass so much it wakes Fluffy up and he just chomps her face off.
Yes. So going back to the moralistic part of these tales, this one is just, this is an annoying drunk lady and deserves to die.
Well, I don't think there's
so that these guys
really
can play
any
chess
moralistic
together the rest of their lives.
No, it's just like she's just a rotten person who's now affected his personal and business life. Like he's just made his life a living hell. And it's not necessarily like he's doing a good thing by killing her.
But usually then he would get his comeuppance for having done that. You know what I mean?
Which
we would have seen Fluffy standing outside dripping wet at the end or something like that.
Well, now that you bring it up, the open-ended question on that is that after Billy gets killed, he winds up getting new locks. He puts the lock, throws this thing in the car, and takes it to the quarry, which it kind of understands by the end of like kind of what's going on. It's either releasing it or, you know, just trying to kill it. It throws it in the quarry and it breaks out of the crate. So like, I think the twist at the end is that because of his selfish actions of murdering his wife and covering up these murders, he's now unleashed Fluffy into the world. Like, as in like, now he's got this unstoppable, like how much can this thing eat? Like, how hungry is this thing? And now by the end of the story,
that's not like I don't think he has any moral dilemma with that.
He doesn't
like,
care.
There's nothing going back to the comeuppance of the character. Yeah.
Like in the first one, the aunt killed the dad, and now he comes back as a zombie, is killing her, and bad things happen. The Tide one, Leslie Nielsen does the bad thing, has a bad thing happen to him.
Oh, totally. No, I don't think it's a moralistic thing towards them. I think it's just in general. It's like because they did a terrible, like, because Henry did a terrible thing by having Fluffy basically kill his wife. He's now done a worse thing by releasing Fluffy.
So he's just extra.
It's just extra bad. So it's like this evil deed, this bad deed
with this bad stuff.
You thought he was bad before.
Now he's double
really
bad.
He's worse than you thought. The end.
The end.
Also, one thing I love is when Fluffy starts to attack Wilma, he turns to Henry and he grunts something, and it's almost like he's saying thank you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks.
I do like
which I would love.
At the attack,
they high five.
All the color changes and everything again.
Oh
yeah.
Classic color changes, dude. Yeah. The red and blue are just in full effect this entire movie. We get to our last segment, which is they're creeping up on you. This one is, oh man, it's just gross. It's just bug gross. Like, this is mostly just bug gross. And we get a really baddie bad. We get Upson Pratt, who is basically like a cartoonishly interpretation of like what the 1% is. Like, he clearly and actively in dialogue is like, all people to him are insects and bugs. And it's for him to like squish them, crush them, and make as much money as humanly possible. And we find him in his like soup, because he's also a germaphobe.
And he's germophobic, yes.
So he's in like this pristine,
supposed to be a germ-proof apartment.
So what's funny is that in the original story, it's supposed to be a mansion. Like, it's supposed to be like an old-timey mansion that Upson lives in. And they realized for filming purposes, like, there's no way that they'd be able to get that many bugs to fill a house like that, or film them in a way that you could actually see them. So they decided to be okay, what would be the best determination? Okay, let's do a sterile white environment. So this little tidbit is actually brought by Bloody Disgusting, because I was really curious on how the hell they got all the roaches for this,
like
where they came from. This is when they were talking with production. This is a quote from one of their articles. Production sought out purchasing live cockroaches for this segment from New York, because the whole segment is done in New York. The problem is that to purchase them, they'd cost 50 cents a roach, which would add up fast for the approximate 20,000 roaches that they needed. Instead, entomologist Ray Mendez and David Brody went to Trinidad, waded waist deep in a cave filled with them, and brought back about 18,000 roaches. The roaches receive their own...
Like on the plane?
Right? The roaches receive their own trailer to be kept and bred for more. So apparently, what they didn't realize is that roaches hate direct sunlight. So they're trying to film these roaches, and the second they would hit the stage, they would just scatter fucking everywhere.
Oh, sure.
So so they had 18,000 of these roaches, and more or less they had to like not scrap them, but they had to use a wild amount of raisins and nuts in shots to show cockroaches, because those are like, they were like, they look like them from a distance and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's great.
They also infested. So by the end of the production of this thing, right, of this segment, there were so many cockroaches that got loose that apparently to this day where they film this, there's like descendants of these cockroaches still living in the walls. All of the props that were used for the film like had cockroaches in them. And
that makes sense. When you said they didn't realize that cockroaches didn't like light, I thought you were going to say didn't realize that cockroaches are just going to get loose and infiltrate everything.
Yeah.
That's what I would have expected.
Laying eggs everywhere and fucking...
oh my God, all over the place. All right, so this is just the second half of the part of the article. For the scene that sees the roaches pouring out of the vent towards Pratt, the entomologists and roach wranglers poured a barrel full down a funnel so that they come rushing out of the vent. But in one take, they just ran back the other direction, covering the wrangler instead. Savini created a dummy of E.G. Marshall for the segment's finale, in which the roaches burst forth from his dead body. Underneath, the entomologist pumped plungers full of roaches into the dummy until they burst forth from the other side. These roaches, in all different shapes and sizes, were to be exterminated at the end of the production, but because it was impossible to wrangle them up back after a scene, the roaches has gotten into everything. Furniture, props that people took as mementos after them still had roaches, and the building probably still has descendants of those roaches living in them. It was probably by far more likely that the cast and crew on that set developed a fear of cockroaches than anybody watching the film, because apparently the entire time they were just surrounded by cockroaches.
Yeah.
God.
Pretty gross.
So the gore on him, on the chest bursting of all the roaches coming out, that
so
is
wild,
supremely gross. That's a good one. That was that, and the fluffy kills were what I was thinking of for the gory parts.
Oh, 100%. Because like I think it's fun because he has that heart attack in his room. I like how the roaches pulled a Friday the 13th part 2 and we're just hiding under the sheets. I'm like, oh my God, when he comes in here, we're going to get him so fucking bad.
Wait for him to come in.
We're going to get him so fucking bad. Oh my God, we're going to get him so bad. And they did, to the point where he had a fucking like basically like a heart attack. And then God, dude, the scene of them coming out of the dummy.
And then he was filled with bugs, it turned out.
Filled with bugs. I think it's that scene.
There's your problem. You're filled with bugs.
Mr. Pratt. What's the matter, Mr. Pratt? Bugs got your tongue. That
I did like the way the door looked visually with the eyeballs and the mouths when he was talking with the super whatever it was.
Yes.
I just like the stylization of that.
One of my favorite lines from there is that he's boasting that his 1-bedroom apartment costs $3,200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's not bad. I'm like, oh, wait, no, this is in 1982. So that must have been like an asshole-ish amount of money.
Times 4 at least.
At least.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, is there anything else? I mean, I think we kind of talked about the beginning epilogue.
We didn't talk about the closing of it, though, did we? Or did we?
A little bit, but
we talked about how Chat GPT had it wrong.
Oh, that's very true.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So now we have
something they got wrong.
Now we have the end of the film, which is the comic book closing up, and we have our special effects guy himself, Tom Savini, playing one of the garbage men, as they throw everything out, and they're going through, and they realize that the voodoo doll ad is it's been clipped out. Someone sent in for a voodoo doll. And we got Tom Atkins and his wife at the bottom downstairs calling out for Billy. As I like how that just progresses where like she's ironing the shirt and then she sees the giant cloth taken out of the side of it doesn't bring it up and just tosses it and is like, God, I've had the stiff neck all night.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fucking just Billy in his room going, I want you to fucking die. That voice he does is fantastic. Just and then we get that beautiful red and blue lighting as he's just violently stabbing the throat of this voodoo doll as Tom Atkins is just like not full churtle, but like probably if he gets he's not churtling. Yeah, no, but it's a voodoo doll. So like if he's going to stab him for another week and a half of that, we may very likely get a Tom Atkins churtle.
It could send you to down a churtle
road.
Yeah.
Funnel.
Yeah. Churtle funnel.
Spiral. The churtle spiral. Yeah. Churtle down the spiral.
Oh, the downward churtle spiral. I love that album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
So, is there any other little tidbits, anything like that before we take a break, gentlemen?
You tell me. You guys tell me. I've never seen this before.
I have no more notes.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Well,
you did such a good job.
He's on it.
Thank you.
Boo.
Boo. Well, and on that lovely note, we're going to take a quick break.
Hungry.
And we're back. Let's get back into the 6 again. Part 2. Undead Cake Boss.
Hey.
Here's the first one. Would we survive Creepshow?
Well, that's tough.
This is a tough one, obviously.
Yeah.
So I would say yes. So very specific scenarios.
Right.
I don't see myself getting into.
Yeah, I don't see anybody wanting to take revenge on me.
I mean, I hope not. But yeah.
Not since I was in elementary school, no.
Yeah, and I will say that Creepshow did teach me that if a meteor crashes in my house, let it cool off on its own.
Yes.
That's true. I will, yeah.
Don't fucking touch the meteor.
Touch it at all, yeah.
That might be
Don't touch space junk.
Yeah, don't touch space junk.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we would definitely survive. I feel
say the crate is the tough one, right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Fluffy.
If we were to find that crate and encounter it, but.
Oh, yeah. I think probably the crate would be the one that would, we probably wouldn't survive Fluffy. I mean, not all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything pull you guys out of the movie while watching it?
I mean, yes, but it seems like that is the movie. I mean, I wasn't really fully in it in the way that I was pulled out by anything.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
I was actually curious, Brian. I know anthologies you aren't as big on, especially depending on how it's all stitched together. So as being presented as these stories from this how did that work for you, this way of storytelling anthology?
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, ultimately, I think, I don't know. I wasn't upset by it because it didn't rely on like a through story that you had to keep going through. But at the same time, I almost felt like I was missing something. I don't know. I felt like we can get into it with the rating in a minute because I think that'll reflect some of my scores over there.
Cool.
I'm into that. What would this movie's band name be, and what kind of music would they be playing?
I called them the Ghoulish Grooving Gravestones, and they sing Horror Billy, as I called it. It's like rockabilly, but about like horror stuff.
Yeah, sure. That's
okay.
Isn't that a genre?
Probably.
It's Rob Zombie, isn't it?
That's
Psychobilly.
Yeah, that's Psychobilly. This is Horror Billy.
That's funny because my band name is Call Me Billy, and it's like a sort of throwback. I guess maybe like a vaporwave type band.
Okay.
It's a modern band that makes 80s style music. But they sound kind of, Tears for Fears, Depeche Mode type of band. Call Me Billy with a flock of seagulls haircut.
I like that.
Oh, perfect.
Don, do you have a band and a that you would
I don't have a band name, but I would think as far as like the music genre, I would think something like the Misfits or the Cramps.
Ooh,
that's works
really
very
good.
well too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would. Oh man, I got two. First one is Lunkhead, and Lunkhead is a is a bluegrass thrash band.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know either, man. When I look at Jordy Verrill, I'm like, man, I'd be pissed.
You hear it.
You're gonna know, yeah. Like Jordy Verrill at the end. When you see it, you're gonna know exactly. Like, okay, all right, that's that.
Real quick, I just thought of a band name: Head Cake.
Perfect. Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. And then I think the other one would be like, man, like maybe like a synthwave band, but I would call it Red Blue.
Red Blue. Makes sense.
Is there anything about this movie that's unusual for the genre?
The genre of anthology movies, if anything,
horror, I would say.
How comic booky the visuals get.
The campiness of it.
Yeah. I would say, I would agree.
Tongue-in-cheek aspect.
And also, I would say lighting and the use of like backgrounds, like the actual like not cartoon,
the
but
comic
book. The whole comic book aspect to this, I think, is like pulls it away from the other ones, because even in its hokiness, it still gives that very big comic book vibe. Was there a message? It
was lost.
I think maybe some of the different stories may have had their own messages, but in general, nothing too strong.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with space shit. Don't fuck with space junk.
Don't fuck with space stuff. I think the only one to me would be the they're creeping up on you. I think it's the idea of
being filled with bugs.
Yeah.
The message.
No. Well, no, it does have, I mean, I don't know. It just it shows kind of just like the classism of people of that economic level and how they consider other people around them, including people of color and people, you know what I mean? Like he refers to human beings as insects, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know. I think that aspect of, I think there was a clear, out of any of them, I think that one was the fucking one that actually had like a
most
really
obvious.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank God that thought process didn't carry forward into the future.
Well, and it's because of this movie. So
people really heeded the warning. Take head of the warning.
The head of warning.
Yeah, we really listened.
It's interesting. I wonder how this movie would have turned out, because when they got the schematics for They're Creeping Up on You, they didn't know if they could actually pull it off with their budget. The alternative was actually the Hitchhiker from part 2. That was supposed to be the 5th placement until they got the funding. We'll get into that when we cover part 2. How can we make this gooier, guys? I mean, it's got some goo.
It's got some. Apparently not enough for Sam to make it.
No, I still, after talking about it, I still stand by my statement.
I don't know.
I think like with Something That Tied You Over, it made sense when they got shot in the head. It was all watery.
Yeah.
But I did notice in the crate, when the janitor is being killed, the blood that poured out was a little watery.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. So, way more viscous.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need a little more like
corn syrup in there.
Corn syrup in there.
Thicken that blood up. Let it ooze out. Get a little bit more, even more gooey when, you know, the zombie ghosts are getting shot. Our father that returns in Father's Day could be dripping a little bit more,
a little gooier. I mean, we could.
Make them wetter. You need
see that squash. See the shotgun
Stephen King
shot.
could have been way wetter.
Yeah,
and when Billy shot in the forehead with a .44 Magnum, it would have done more than just a little hole in the forehead.
Oh,
right. Yeah,
right.
You could definitely goo that up for sure.
100%. I would have loved to have seen like the plant like fishing in and out of his skin. So instead of like having moss turning like growing on top of him, since he ate it, I would have loved to have seen like the plants like literally coming out of his skin and like, you know,
that would definitely be
popping popping his eyeballs out like in Tree Venge.
There you go.
Tree Venge.
And the final form of Jordy Verrill when he was the Chuddle. It really looked like he was just in a ghillie suit. So,
yeah, it really was.
It was very dry, light, breezy,
more
easy,
goo,
breezy,
more wet.
Beautiful, gooey, wetter,
swampier. Maybe they didn't want the Swamp Thing look, so they were like make him a sort of like a prairie thing.
Maybe that was because Adrienne Barbeau was in the movie. They're like, okay, we can't have this thing look like Swamp Thing because she's already in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make this like a little more shag carpety.
Yes, a shag thing.
It's a shag thing. All right, we're getting to 6 Returns Part 3. have it call you Billy. Villain level 1 to 10.
This is hard because we have so many different ones.
We got so many different villains. I don't know. I mean, I would say with Nate and Something to Tide You Over, I would give them 10s because they're undead and relentless. As in, like, I mean, if they can grab you and goo you, but also be able to like pop into your bathroom,
that's pretty strong.
Like the old grab and goo.
The old grab and goo. Yeah, because like the meteorite to me would be, although its destructive power is like apocalyptic, if you don't touch it. If you don't touch it, you don't.
Well, it seemed like the rain forecast was supposed to make us think that was going to make
grow
it grow
or something.
and take over.
Yeah, that's true.
But was it the meteor itself or the meteor shit that caused it to grow?
That's true.
If he hadn't have broken the meteor, would it have just been a meteor
and just hardened? Oh shit! I don't know.
Yeah, it's Schrodinger's meteor.
So yeah. Maybe if
Schrodinger's meteor shit.
If it just landed in naturally.
That's the band name.
Oh, hey, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Schrodinger's meteor shit.
Meteor shit. And
that's fucking like crust punk, like
a new.
Yes.
I was thinking it was like a new wave.
Okay,
I saw that.
Red lights outside.
Got some Creepshow happen outside of your
I was
house.
about to say it's like Creepshow filters.
I live in New York.
I live. That's right. Does this deserve a sequel?
Creepshow all the time. Sure. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say yes as I know there is one. There's both a sequel and a TV show, but my vote would have been yes as a TV show, rather than a movie. Just give me more EC stories, but I don't need to sit down and watch a movie. Give me episodically. Maybe it's because I have all Tales from the Crypt. I'm such a big Tales from the Crypt fan that I couldn't help but picking that up from it.
Oh, yeah.
That I was just, and that's I'm used to the format of episodic. That's the way I prefer it. I'm definitely going to check out the TV show now.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely some fun ones in the TV show. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it definitely deserves a sequel. Can you think of the worst sequel to a Creepshow?
Yeah,
the way you're talking sounds like 3.
Yes, actually, it was made in its part.
Is it not an anthology?
That's what I was going to say. It's going to not be an anthology. And I don't know how.
And
It's
just about a comic book shop.
Everything's going to work out. And it's going to be a nice, happy movie.
Yeah.
About a guy trying to... Creepshow.
Oh, it's in the vein...
Not an anthology. It's this guy trying to put on a show. But all he can find are like registered sex offenders.
Oh, interesting.
They can't get anybody to come see the play. So it's about him trying to get people to come see the
Creepshow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't beat that, Sam.
Yeah,
that fucking wins. You fucking win. Would you buy the soundtrack or score on this on vinyl?
I would.
I have it.
Oh, fuck you.
I've got it.
Of course he does.
Of course I do.
No, nothing really stood out to me.
Same.
Beautiful score, by the way. But it is like you're not gonna you're not gonna clean the house. Well, I mean, I clean the house to it, but normal people wouldn't clean the house to this. It's great for Halloween though, man. Playing that around Halloween is the ambiance of your house is fantastic,
especially the main theme.
Yes,
with the children singing.
La 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 la. Yeah.
Ross just listen to that cleaning the house.
I do that. I really wish I could joke about. I actually do. Like I sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna listen to the Creepshow soundtrack and do dishes. Is anything action figure worthy in Creepshow?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tons of
every
stuff.
segment has a
Almost
character that
everything.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
I would love a Nathan action figure.
Oh god, a Nate action figure would be fantastic.
I want the fully turtled
Me too.
Stephen King.
Shotgun in hand.
Or maybe almost fully turtled. Like a little bit of humanity still in there.
Okay.
Get an Upson Pratt doll with a hollow chest that has a little button on the back you push and a bunch of little baby roaches pop out.
Oh yeah, you're speaking Ross's language.
Oh dude, I was gonna say you could have a Jordy Verrill one where you push his tummy and his head pops off.
Perfect. the zombie ghosts, there's like a pump on the back, so you can press it and like ooze spurts out of bullet holes on them. That'd be fun.
I love that.
And I would love like an actual maquette of Fluffy in his crate.
Oh, that would be so good.
Mm-hmm.
God, that or just like a like a statue, like a diorama of like the just under the stairs, and then the college kid getting just murked would be so good.
Or a diorama of when the college kid gets killed by Fluffy.
And that's what it says underneath. Is there any merch or props that you guys would want from the film?
I mean, Fluffy would be cool.
Fluffy, I want the ashtray.
You want that?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say the birthday cake head.
Oh, that prop would
very
be
much
awesome.
Yeah, that would be fun to have for sure.
For the record, there's a Fluffy Christmas tree ornament.
There you go. That's perfect merch from the movie. I
ordered.
And there's also a Nate zombie mask.
Oh wow,
there is.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like there's probably plenty of. Whoa.
Oh wait, actually, hold on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised Ross hasn't popped off to go grab some merch to show us.
Well, here we go.
So that's the Fluffy Christmas ornament.
Oh, okay.
And this is the Nate one.
Oh wow. Okay, I want that now.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet looking. Those are great.
When I said I have a lot of Creepshow stuff, I have a lot of Creepshow stuff.
So not having seen this before, I was expecting there to be some sort of ticket taking
movie theater
carnival
something
scene based on the poster for the movie and like the heavy, Ross got like a full on fucking 3-foot 3D box of the poster. Thing. I don't even know what to call it. And it's just the movie poster. I thought for sure it was going to tie into the movie somehow.
No, it's literally just the poster because the poster is that cool. It
poster's dope. Poster's
so
good.
That cool.
Poster's day.
There's a Fluffy he's in the crate too. Okay, so there's plenty of merch that I need to.
Oh yeah, you can get your hands on that Creepshow. Good.
All that stuff. Guys, what are we doing at the midnight show? Anything?
Definitely throwing plastic toy cockroaches.
Yeah,
the cockroach scene. You fill that place up with cockroaches at the end of the movie. You're coming in with bags of cockroaches.
I would throw real cockroaches, but that's just me.
There's always a joker in the mix. Someone just wants to watch the world burn.
When Ted Danson is left on the beach and Leslie Nielsen's driving away, everybody throws snorkels at the screen.
Snorkels. Yes, I love it.
Perfect.
This is a fun word. You can use that word just for fun when you like snorkel. I'm sure you've heard it before, but you may have not realized how fun it is.
And look at it. Really look at the word snorkel. It looks funny too.
It's spelled funny.
We went on. We love snorkels over here. We're a pro snorkel podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna start a spin-off podcast.
I'm not afraid to say it.
All snorkels.
Buying, selling, and collecting antique snorkels.
Mm-hmm. Snorkel talk. Straight up, we want people to know what they're getting into.
Just from Jump Street.
No more Chuddle shit. No more like, what is this podcast about? These fellas are going to talk about some snorkels. Sorry, snorkel talk.
All the time. Mine's just real simple. I would honestly just have when Fluffy's eating the janitor and you see him for the first time, literally everyone just go, "Hi, Fluffy."
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I like that. Great.
All right, guys. We're moving on to ratings. It's now time that we put our hands into the crate of destiny and figure out how many of our digits are going to get chomped off by Fluffy. On this show, we like to use a rating score of 0 to 5 fingers. Each finger adds to the score, and with more fingers equaling a higher score. And don't forget, you can chop off half a finger as well as no fingers. We have 5 criteria. We have engaging, sticky, t-shirtable, cockles, and rewatchable. Let's, you know what? I just want to know just out the gate. Sam?
Yo.
What you got? What you rating?
Okay, let's see here. The old Samarino. Engaging. Is it a full 1? I don't think it is. The first time I watched it, I got distracted on my phone, and the second time I watched it, I kept dozing off.
That's how you missed all the blood.
So it's getting a 0.5. Sorry. Sticky. Which, is memorable. How much of it's going to stick with me. It's going to get another 0.5 there because I'm positive there are aspects of this movie that I'll remember, but I'm also certain the next time I go to visit, I'll be like, totally forgot about this. Mm-hmm. So 0.5 there. Jumping over to T-shirtable. Haha, we'll get our first one here. It's a great, there's so much great imagery within the movie. Even just the movie poster itself. And I do like it. So easily can cut off a full finger for T-shirtable. Cockles. Here's a strange thing. Even though I was going on my phone and falling asleep, it really does it for me. But maybe it's that whole EC Tales from the Crypt factor, but it works. So it's getting a full one for Cockles. And then we're going to go to rewatchable, and that one's going to be a little tougher because I think it is going to, I know at least as of right now, it's going to be a 0.5. I'll certainly go back and revisit it. Especially, I do feel like I'm going to use this as one of my intro horror movies for my kids. But I'm not rushing to go see it again. It's certainly not going to be a background while I'm doing dishes movie. So that gives it a total of 3.5 out of 5 fingers.
Understandable.
For me.
Don, what are you giving Creepshow?
What are the parameters again?
So we've got engaging.
Engaging to me, I give it a full finger. You get one finger for each thing, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So for me, it's engaging because I watch it every damn year.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was even on a cruise ship one time and we were just like sitting in the cabin and I was flipping through the TV and it was on TV on the cruise.
Huh.
And I sat in the cabin and watched the movie.
You were You were creep cruising?
I was creep cruising.
Nice.
That's fantastic.
God, I would have done that. I would have done that for sure.
Absolutely. I want to go on a cruise for the specific reason of
just sitting in my cabin and watching Creepshow. Yeah, we'll have cabins where on the Chuddle cruise. That's what Chuddle Fest 8 at this point or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like this.
It's just gonna be a cruise where no one leaves like the boat. We all just sit in our rooms and watch movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'd give it a full finger for that. For the second one was stickiness.
Yes, Sticky, which is like how memorable it is.
Again, a 1 for me. Mm-hmm. The third one was T-shirtable. Again, fuck it. Oh, I give it 5 fingers. We'll do it that way. 5 fingers.
Yeah,
100%.
We can get there pretty quick.
5 across the board. Bry Guy.
Yes. All right. So engaging. I'm kind of in the same boat as Sam was. I found myself pulling away from it at bits. As much as I enjoyed the visuals, which will go into T-shirtable, but engaging, it gets the 0.5 from me. Sticky as well. I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it a 0.5. I want to give it a little bit more, but I just don't think it's gonna stick. Like, I'm remembering all this stuff that's because we're talking about it now, but I don't know if it's going. If when I come back to it again to revisit it, like kind of like Sam said, I'll probably be like, oh yeah, that's. I forgot about that. This has happened. So maybe I could see this bumping up over time, but on a first watch, unfortunately, let's get the 0.5. T-shirtable 100% gets a full 1. It has so much visual splendor to it. There's a lot of good stuff in there that you could put onto a T-shirt. So that gets the full treatment. Cockles is where I will differentiate and only put a 0.5. I don't know why. Again, anthologies are hard for me. They're hit or miss at this point, but I've been appreciating them and liking them a lot more, I think, as time has gone on. But there's just something. I think one of the big things to it as well, and we'll touch with Rewatchable, is how I felt it's too long. It's a 2-hour movie. I feel like long. We could have trimmed up. We could have taken out a segment. We could have trimmed up some of the other segments.
I think there's a cut in Spain that was made for, it's, again, weird factor. I think it's from Spain, I believe. It was a TV cut that only had creeping up on you and something to tie. No, sorry, the crate and their creeping up on you as the 2 segments or something like that, and that was the entire movie. They edited out Father's Day. Yeah, they took out, and it's still with commercials still ran an hour and a half.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think yeah, it's something should have been tightened up with it, which I don't know. I saw that Creepshow 2 was only an hour and a half, which I was like, if that had that runtime on it, I think it could have been.
Yeah, that only had 3 stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I'm curious to look at it. So 0.5 on Cockles and as well as 0.5 on Rewatchable. Just to go into it, I loved a lot of the thoughts, and I like the visual aspect to it, but I'm not dying to go back to the stories more or less.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah.
Makes
so
sense.
At this point,
that's a wait. Is it 3?
3 out of 5.
You guys can take a wild guess on what my rating's going to be.
Off your arm.
I am diving head first into the crate to have my entire body consumed by Fluffy.
He is the janitor.
I am the janitor. I am Mike the janitor. Looking up, just going like, just do it, dude. Engaging gets a 1. Sticky gets a 1. T-shirtable gets a 1, Cockles gets a 1, and Rewatchable gets a 1. This is a 5 for me. Even seeing this 1,000 times, I'm still fully engaged every time I see this movie. Sticky, I quote this movie all the fucking time. Like, there's certain shit that I say almost on a regular basis from this movie. It's so ingrained in my viewing. T-shirtable, I own like 4 different Creepshow shirts, I think, at this point, maybe more. Cockles, milked, eviscerated, ground to fucking
eviscerated the Cockles,
eviscerated, ground into mummy dust and sold on the black market. Like, that is how much that this has affected my Cockles. And Rewatchable, I mean, like, I watch this probably 2 to 3 times a year, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, it's to me, it's like this is a comfort food movie. Like, as in, like, if I'm like having a shitty day or something like that, I'm like, oh, cool, I can watch Creepshow and astronomically feel better fucking every single time I see this movie.
Great.
So, Sam, what does that make? Let's get into the final 2. Where's this? Yeah. Let's put you know what? Let's be like Billy. Let's put a pin in it.
Hey, well done.
I get it.
You get it? As we finish up tonight's episode, we are going to close out with our final 2 questions. Does Creepshow belong in the Chuddle Club Crypt? To qualify, it needs to have an average score of over 4 fingers. Sam, I already know the answer, but
unfortunately, it does not. It is at a 3.8. If Bryan liked it just a half a finger more, it would have been there.
Oh wow! So it's in the
or if I had to.
Okay, so it's in the it's in the casket. It made a proper burial, but it didn't actually get to a catafalque.
Oh yeah, 3.8 is a great score. I mean, overall,
absolutely. It puts it higher than our last 2 movies, Final Destination and Lawnmower Man, but not higher than Friday the 13th Part 3. That was our last movie to score higher than that.
And on to our last question. Now, to finish this off, I'm going to ask you a would you rather. Which one of the 5 segments would you rather have happen to you?
Well, it depends, because if you do Father's Day, you could be the, oh my God, guy and live.
That's, I guess, yeah. You don't know if they actually die or not at the end. He got his cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm gonna, I don't fucking know.
I'll be the,
I'll go.
In the crate, I'll be the professor who comes and finds the crate and sees all the bad stuff and then gets drugged. And is like, sure, I'll play chess with you. I'll be him.
Well, that's nice.
Oh, all right.
I was going to say that'd be the scenario where I would go into, because the meteor one seems like you're getting gooed and screwed.
Yeah.
The
sounds like a Saturday night.
The lonesome gooed and screwed death of Jordy Verrill.
Good and Screwed is like the hair metal, like
Good and Screwed crew. Is kind of like Chopped and Screwed.
Okay.
Only it adds all these like sounds to songs.
Splat.
That's where they use that instead of the air horn. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna go against Bubby. What's his name? Slappy?
Fluffy.
Slappy. Honestly, I'm gonna do something that tied you over. I don't know why, but like at least that at least
get
he
out
drowned.
Of the sand. You're a good idea. I could get out of that.
At a bare minimum, I go to sleep and I just drown. Best case scenario, I shimmy my way out and get to the authorities.
You go to sleep and drowned? Or you just drown?
You just black out. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there's a lot of panic involved, but like out of all the other horrible ways that people died in this movie, drowning is probably one of the least like.
My guy doesn't die.
But you don't get to be that guy, right?
Yeah, I said I want to be that guy.
No, you're in that scenario. That means you're going up against Fluffy.
So that guy does. Two guys do it and survive.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm saying one of them.
I'm just saying I'm in that scenario.
I can shimmy out of that.
I don't know. I could shimmy out of there.
All right. Well,
I'm just saying Nathan didn't seem like he could move very fast. So
that's true. Even with his telekinesis, I feel like you probably could get a real good running sprint away from Nathan.
And I guess the last one I'm confused on. I don't know how you get a body full of bugs, but
by being
they crawled in his mouth.
Yeah, they all just.
Well,
then you're fine. In that scenario,
I'll choose that scenario then.
Over my germaphobe tower and be a good person.
There you go.
Neener. Dodd, did you have?
I'm curious of what everybody's favorite segments are. If you had to choose one. Mine's probably the crate, although I do like the Tide one as well. That'd come in second, I think.
Oh man, yeah, I'd probably say the crate. Crate, it's just Fluffy, man. Is like it's so because I think it's the most straight laced out of all of the segments. Like that one's the one. Like that's the. There is some hints of humor, but that one's the most like an actual creature horror story versus like. Joking and tongue-in-cheek stuff. If that makes sense.
Well, it has the whole shot in the head golf clap. That's pretty funny.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, I mean, I'd agree. The crate one, I think, is top of my list.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Now seemed like the time to ask.
Good timing.
That's actually the best time because that does it for the Chuddle Movie Club meeting for tonight. Don, thank you so much for joining us on our 5 Jolting Tales of Terror.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I really sorry it's taken so fucking long.
Dude, no worries.
No worries. We'll finally get over.
Yeah, and hopefully within the next month or so, we're going to have you guys on our show.
Oh, that'd be great. Also, would you like to plug and promote your show?
Yeah, the show is 2 Towns Over, an Urban Legends podcast, though we fly fast and loose with the Urban Legends portion of it now.
Yeah.
But we do an episode. We do 2 episodes every week. The midweek episode is usually just new stories that I found interesting during the week.
Uh-huh.
And then the main episode is some kind of true crime, urban legend, haunted house type story that Ruben and Josh can be incredulous about and say there's no such thing as ghosts. But as of right now, we're still in the Satanic Panic series, the never-ending Satanic Panic series. That was originally supposed to be 3 episodes, has turned into 20. We're at 20 episodes now.
Yeah, it's wild.
So, my goodness.
If you guys want to hop on the Satan train, absolutely catch those episodes.
Yeah, we've been doing it since January 1st.
That's amazing.
Fuck.
I love it so much.
Every week, that's what I say. I say, fuck.
We're still here.
Fuck.
Here we are again.
God.
My old friend.
All right.
I did not expect West Memphis to be 8 or 7 episodes. That was literally supposed to be 3, but I had to stop midweek every week because just Ruben and Josh couldn't take it anymore. So
just tapped out.
Yeah, they're like, no, we got to stop. Find a place and stop it. So, but yeah, so 2 Towns Over, True Crime Podcast, or Urban Legends Podcast.
I mean,
it's a true crime podcast. Let's be honest.
Right.
What have we become?
That's about it.
Hell yeah.
Perfect, man. As you know, we are a movie club, and you club members are the heart, soul, guts, and goo. So don't forget to jump into our Discord, the best place to continue this conversation with us, as well as other fans and past guests. You can follow Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd.
What's up?
You can creep on Bry Guy in the Discord. We got some video game action going on. We got some general chats going on. You got predictions. Are you kidding me? You are like the king of new releases. If you want some like spoiler talk, and like we have different Discords for movies that have just come out where you guys can talk about all the ins and outs and all the spoilers without your friends getting mad at you. And of course, you can find me at Ross Purvis on Instagram for artwork, tattoos, and all that fun stuff. Don't forget about all the places to get at us. Please rate and review us. If you enjoyed our take on Creepshow, tell a friend. Tell 5 friends because of the 5 jolting tales tonight.
Please.
And yeah, like, rate, review, and thank you again for making it this far. And until next time.
Hell of a shot.
Bullseye.